Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Films and Stuff. I'm Ethan, joined by the MVP, Most Valuable Pete. Hey, Pete, what's up today?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
Everything is great. It is Saturday morning. We know what that means. It means childhood cartoons and a new installment of our Stream or Skip segment. I think you know the routine. I introduce a segment, as I have, and then you, in like 15 seconds or less, usually reiterate what is like the program rules of Stream or Skip. So without further ado, my friend, I turn that explanation over to you.
Alrighty, so Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows for each other to watch. Every week we randomly assign each other one of those shows. We watch 2 episodes if it's a series, 30 minutes if it's a feature-length program, and on that basis we determine if that show is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Well said. Who should kick it off today, me or you?
I'll start because mine's relatively short.
Oh.
I saw a show on Amazon Prime which you were unable to watch called The Assassin.
That's right.
Yeah, it's interesting. First of all, it's a short series. It's only 6 episodes. Now, I will caveat this by saying I didn't watch all 6 episodes. I watched the first couple. As you would expect, it's about an assassin.
Would not have guessed.
It's about a retired lady assassin, lady hitman, or hitwoman as it were, and her son. It's Keely Hawes and Freddie Highmore.
Do I know them from anywhere?
You'll know Freddie Highmore from The Good Doctor, where he plays the autistic surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
Most famously, he was Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The show opens really well. There's a pretty cool assassination mission that she goes under, and she's fully clothed in a balaclava and an outfit like that's fully black, and you don't even realize that it's a woman. And then at the very end, of course, they do that thing where she takes off her balaclava and everyone's like, oh my God, that's a really good looking woman. And you're like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting a woman at all. Flash forward 31 years later, she's retired. She's living in isolation on a Greek island. She's got a son, and the son visits her, but you can tell that they don't have a great relationship.
Okay.
She's already super abrasive. She's got an estranged husband. He doesn't know who his father is properly. He just believes her, or he's been told by her that he's just a bad guy. He's just become a trustee of a huge trust that's given him a load of money, but he doesn't know where it's from, and he doesn't understand who could do this to him. Not a bad thing, but like he wants to understand, right?
He's the beneficiary of the trust.
He's the beneficiary. Anyway, so he comes to this island to basically meet with his mom. It's like a summer vacation kind of thing. She gets a call from her handler, who she hasn't spoken to in like 30 years.
Who's her handler?
Some guy named Damien. It's just a voice on the phone.
Ah.
As you would expect, he asks her to do one last job. She says no. Finally, he convinces her. She goes on the job, and then she realizes that her handler isn't her handler. It's somebody else pretending to be her handler. You know, he uses AI, or the person uses AI to mask his voice.
Don't you think that if you're my handler, we should have a code word? Don't you agree?
I would 100% agree. She doesn't go through with it. And of course, what happens? Now they're after her and her son. Right? So they attend a wedding, and there's a couple of shots at the wedding. Several of the guests die, and then she goes on the run. She finds the assassin, and then now all of a sudden there's a huge assassination squad after her. There's a bounty placed on her head. And then at the end of the episode, she escapes onto the yacht where her target was, only to find out that her target was her son's fiance.
Her son's fiance was her target?
Exactly. It's just a lot of very cliched, very stereotypical setups, right? Retired assassin, takes one more job, doesn't do the job, becomes the target herself,
Yep.
right? Like we've seen this all before. Like this is nothing new for us.
I kind of like it though. I mean, because
Yeah.
it feels like so the son had no idea what the mom was, right? Like as all assassins, they're like
Exactly. But then in
Right.
the second episode, it all comes out in the air. She admits to the son, she admits to the fiance. You know, it becomes very clear because they can't escape that so long, and they're on a tiny yacht and they're being hunted down by a hit squad.
First of all, I like that you say it's a tiny yacht. But second, it reminds me of that old joke like, I've got to tell you something, but you have to promise not to be mad kind of conversation, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, lovebirds, look, mom's got to tell you something, but you have to promise not to be mad. I'm an assassin. I was supposed to assassinate you. Okay. Are we all good?
Good. Let's enjoy some frittatas, right? So
Yeah.
it's just the most random. In any case, it's very cliched. As you rightly said, it's not bad. The premise is
Yeah.
it's a fun premise.
So they kind of work together now, right? Like the
So
son's
they're
going to have
kind
to
of
become...
in league together.
Yeah.
They have to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
They have to find out where the handler is, and because now she's got a bounty on her head that's like the size of a small country. So you know what I mean? Like it's how do we escape this scenario?
All right. So what is the assassin? What's your...
It's not a super compelling mystery, but the action is fantastic. Everyone is acting pretty decently. This is a strong mooch. I would not subscribe to Prime Video for this, but at the same time, if this were on, I would certainly watch it.
Is it like the Jackal?
I think the Jackal was slightly more
Like grittier?
compelling.
Like shooting wise and gun wise and action wise? Was it?
Yeah, I think the Jackal had a little bit more action, and then on top of that, the Jackal also was inherently a little bit more of a you're on the side of what is clearly a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
And you're seeing the story, the TV series, we saw the story of the bad guy and we saw the story of the good guy and how they're chasing each other. It's a bit like Killing Eve,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where you're getting the story of both of them and how they ultimately clash. In
Yeah.
this case, you're really just after, an ex-assassin who's being hunted. You're not seeing who the bad guy is. It's more of a mystery in this one.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a strong mooch. Not a must subscribe, but definitely not a skip.
Turning to me, we are staying on Amazon Prime, and we have something that you generously assigned to me because I know that you wanted to assign it to yourself. My conspiracy theory is that you've actually watched it and you just want to hear my public take on it. So
Maybe.
I was assigned Spider-Noir. It's Nick Cage starring as the Spider, which is, help me out, more or less like a precursor to Spider-Man. Like it's
an alternate universe of Spider.
yeah. So this is set in the 1930s New York City. You cannot talk about this without talking about how it was filmed. And it was filmed noir style, right? Which is kind of that, I mean, you know the style if you know the style. But it was filmed both in black and white. It was filmed digitally.
Yeah.
But you can watch it when you go to Amazon and you select the show. You have the option to watch it in either black and white or in color. And that is, in itself, I think, a very big publicity point for the show. There's endless discourse online in terms of should you watch it in black and white, should you watch it in color, and even Nick Cage weighed in on it. And his recommendation, of course, because it's his show, is like, hey, if you're young, you should watch it in color. If you're old, you should watch it in black and white. That's a summary. I watched it back and forth in both. My assessment is, first of all, it looks fantastic. It really looks fantastic. I prefer color, but the black and white is really, really good. Like, it's not a boring old black and white vintage show. I mean, it's shot digitally, the shadows. I mean, it really fits the style of the show. I would have no problem watching it all in black and white if it was in black and white. However, the color to me is mind-blowing. It's very much like, it's not just in color as opposed to black and white. I mean, the colors are like so like Technicolor. Like if you think of like Dick Tracy, if you think of like Wizard of Oz, like they intentionally dress people or like film in places that have, the dresses are very, very blue. The background is very, very red. You know, the sunsets, it's not just like in color, like normal. It's like they've really, really like turned up the warmth and the, I guess I call it like a Technicolor aspect, but it looks like it's wow. I mean, no one's just wearing like a navy suit or a brown suit. Everyone's got like a burnt orange suit on or a green suit or like, you know, like they've intentionally dressed in colors to make the color version pop. It looks wow. It looks really, really wow. So I kind of switched back and forth, but I thought the color version was just exceptional. And some of the critics are like, hey, I kind of prefer the black and white just because of like the style. But there's some scenes that like must be watched in color. And I thought that was a pretty good breakdown of it. Nick Cage is fantastic. I know you've got a man crush on Nick Cage. He is fantastically cast and acted in this. And the background of this is that he is the Spider, right? Which is kind of like, as you mentioned, kind of like an alternate universe Spider-Man. Set in the 30s. He was in the World War I, I guess. Not to spoil everything, but of course something happened during the war. He has spider powers, but it's not as, I mean, he shoots webs from his wrists and he can do like a lot of things, but it's not as the modern Tom Holland kind of Avenger style Spider-Man. It's much more gritty, and I'd liken it to Robert Pattinson in The Batman.
Yeah.
Where he's a little bit more of a puncher and a fighter. Yes, he has like the spider webbing abilities and stuff, but he's not like this tremendously gifted superhero. He just has some powers. But basically it's quite gritty with a lot of, you know, punching and kicking, and he takes a beating as well and so forth. Okay. The way we pick this up is that he's kind of like aged out of being the Spider, and he's like kind of given that up, and that's all in the past. And then through a series of events, he decides he's going to take it up again. So he's already portraying kind of like in the age spectrum an older, I mean, Nick Cage is like in his 60s, but he's portraying kind of like a Spider character who is like an adult, you know, not the Tom Holland, you know, kind of like young youth or, you know, in their teens or 20s or something. Like he's kind of already supposed to be like retired from this role, and he comes back and he takes it on. So the fact that Nick Cage is a little bit old kind of works well, because the guy's supposed to be a little bit like grizzled and, you know, old. His day job is he's kind of like this detective or private investigator. That's where the film noir style comes in, where you see, you've seen this, I mean, with so many like old kind of black and white films, you know, these characters who have like this rough and tumble past, and they had this big, you know, tragedy that they overcame, and they've got this disheveled office, and they smoke cigarettes constantly, and they drink whiskey constantly, and they wear like the derby hat, and they've got all these kind of like quips and one-liners and stuff. Very much that style. And I don't know if you've read any articles about it, but Nick Cage himself said like his inspiration was 70% Humphrey Bogart and 30% Bugs Bunny. You know, because he's like, you know, it's got to have, it's that balance that probably no one else other than Nick Cage could pull off, between like that coolness and that kind of quippy one-liner, don't take anything too seriously, no matter how bad things are going, you've got like a smart aleck kind of comment, you know, back to it.
Right.
The story's got some bad guys in it. There's Silver Mane, who's the primary bad guy. There's also some guy who's got like electricity coming out of his arms, and there's a backstory as to that. And then there's Sandman, the love interest, or a new potential love interest. The character is Cat Hardy, who's kind of like, I guess, the precursor to Catwoman, someone who's inspired by kind of like the Rita Hayworth, Lauren Bacall, Kim Basinger, kind of characters. I watched the first two. Like I said, I really, really like it. I mean, artistically, it's an A+. I don't know if it's eligible for any awards or if it will win any awards. I mean, this is, as an art form, it's second to none. The acting, the casting, of course, like all the technical shots and the color, it cannot be improved. Honestly, it's fantastic. The story is quaint. I mean, it is not the Avengers Spider-Man, so it doesn't kind of like have this MCU connection. It's a local story, and I think that fits with it well. It doesn't kind of bite off more than it can chew. It's a very kind of local bad guys, some people who have, some special powers, but generally it's kind of like focused on the gangsters and the corruption and the fighting and the stuff like that. The story, after the first two episodes, I thought was a little bit, I don't want to say meh, because that sounds like negative or disappointing, but the story itself wasn't like, oh my God, like this is just such an amazing narrative and I can't wait to see where this goes next. I mean, it's Nick Cage. He's got an alter ego. He's got a team, one of whom is, his secretary, one of whom is kind of like the equivalent of Jimmy Olsen, who's a reporter who knows his true identity but doesn't reveal it. And, the three of them kind of team up to solve crimes and stuff. Very, very solid, but in terms of like plot and narrative, it's not like so far knocking my socks off or like leading to any like fantastic spoilers or MCU universe strings or threads or any other relationships that I can discern so far. Maybe there will be, but so far, no. I mean, for you, it's a must subscribe. I have to say, if you are a massive, comic book MCU Spider fan, it's a must subscribe. If you're just a layperson kind of picking this up, I think you'll come out where I am, which is it's a mooch for plot, but it's fantastically entertaining from a visual perspective. Personally, I'm going to give it a mooch. I think you'd have to be a really tough crowd, or you'd have to have a very, very specific genre that you gravitate towards for you to say that this is a skip. I think it's going to middle between a must subscribe and a mooch for the majority of Amazon's audience.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Now we have a bonus, my friend. Watching something new on Apple TV Plus called Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, which has absolutely turned my expectations upside down. Just based on the title alone and kind of like the cover art and even the first 5 minutes of the show, I was expecting something entirely different. I think this is a thriller, a whodunit, but it's definitely not a dark comedy. It stars, I hate to say this, Tatiana Maslany.
Oh, She-Hulk herself.
She-Hulk herself. I did not recognize her as that character. I mean, I kind of like, I feel like I know her from something, but I didn't put her together as She-Hulk, which is probably good because honestly, had I known that she was She-Hulk, I may not have watched it. I hope someone's listening to. I hope someone important is listening to this podcast. That's how awful I thought She-Hulk was. Is that I would not even give another show a chance if I knew the same actress was starring in it. She's much more likable in this. Even though she's far and away the main character, I don't think that's the best part of the show. So the show starts. There's going to be some spoilers here. She is like having, I don't know what the right way to say it is. She not like phone sex, but she's like doing like a video chat with a dude. And we're made to, it seems as though they have like a long distance relationship because they're kind of like eating dinner together and like having like wine together. And then she's like, oh man, like I gotta go. And he's like, yeah, before you go. And then they kind of get like intimate, like by video. Okay. So you're meant to think that they're like a couple, but then right before they kind of hang up, or end the video chat, if you will, there's kind of like one or two lines, and you understand that she's actually paying for this. Like, he's just a performer, like a cam guy, and she's actually paying for this. And then you find out that, whatever, she's kind of lonely, she's recently divorced, she's a single mother, and whatever, this is like her kind of relationship in a weird way. Okay. One day when they're video chatting, the guy is like assaulted. Like, someone like kicks down the door of his little apartment and they start beating him up, and she like witnesses the whole thing, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, let him go. And she reports it to the police, and the police are like, look, this is a scam. Like, the guy's going to call you in like one day and be like, oh, I owe these guys some money, please just wire me some money. She's like, it's a scam. And the lady's like, no way, it's not a scam. I know this guy. Like, I know you think it's weird. I've got a relationship with a guy. Like, I know him. He wouldn't do that to me. Sure enough, after a couple days, they contact her and start asking her for money. Otherwise, they're going to like release all the videos and stuff to her friends and family. And they start like kind of extorting or blackmailing her. And they start like really harassing her, right? Like, they call her ex-husband and they call her place of work. And like, anyway, it's a big thing. And she's basically being extorted and harassed online. A plot. B plot. The guy actually dies. Spoiler. But he's killed separately. So on the one hand, she's being extorted, saying, hey, if you don't, pay money, we'll kill this guy. On the other hand, she's like, wait, the guy is actually dead. So how can they be extorting me? It must be independent things. So she's basically got two mysteries on her hand. Who killed this guy that she kind of felt like she had a relationship with, and who's extorting her? And then it kind of goes through all the different like twists and turns of her trying to like unravel both of these mysteries at the same time. It is surprisingly very good, I have to say. The supporting characters, they're actually quite good. I really enjoyed the first 5 episodes, I have to say. So that is maximum pleasure guaranteed. And if you would have asked me after like 10 minutes of the show what I thought the show was about, I would have said either it's a relationship between these two and it shows kind of like this lifestyle, or as a single mom, she decides that she's going to start doing this herself to make like money on the side. Those are the two guesses I would have had. So it really took a turn and surprised me, but this is on Apple TV Plus. A little bit of a risque content, or at least at the beginning for Apple TV Plus, but I have to say, it's a mooch, but it's really close to a must subscribe. Like, I really liked it. Like, if I didn't have any more free, I mean, I would, if my subscription was running out, I would definitely renew Apple TV Plus for another month to watch the end of the show.
Okay.
So that is our Streamer Skip Plus for this week. Pete, what do we have assigned for each other for next week?
You and I are back on Netflix. This was actually a show we assigned you a couple weeks ago, but we decided to flip it to this week. You're going to be watching Beauty in Black.
Oh, yeah.
And I am watching a show called The Burrows.
Pete, before we sign off for the week, do you want to read off all of our YouTube, social media, and other creds?
All right. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when the next episode of the Films and Stuff podcast drops for you.
Pete, appreciate your time and insight into The Assassin. Listeners, thank you for joining in, and we shall see you next week, next episode, Films and Stuff podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.